So let's talk about this supposed Game Informer leak. What exactly is going on over here? Block content. What's happening, my Blocked buddies, and welcome to a brand new episode of Blocked Content. My name is Callum, and this is going to be your content for today. And yeah, a lot of you guys have messaged me saying that this leak might be a real possibility. And we don't know all that much information about this, but I just wanted to dive headfirst into this with you guys. So all the introductions aside, here we go. There's a video on Kinda Funny Games YouTube channel, and go check out their channel because there's a lot of great stuff there and good personalities as well. And the video is called Activision Lays Off Hundreds of Employees, but one of the most noticeable parts of this video is where Game Informer's Imran Khan actually talks about some Nintendo rumors. Now, I've watched this video, and it's 51 minutes or something, so I'll compile all the stuff that's interesting from this for the Nintendo audience, so don't worry about that. So what basically this video is talking about is this guy, he knows a lot of insider information, right? He has his ear on the ground, as they say, for Nintendo leaks, rumors, and information. So whatever's happening here and whatever we're going to talk about here, this is still rumor territory, right? But on Leak Speak, we basically talk about everything in rumor and speculation and leaks. So has his ear on the ground for all this Nintendo information, and then suddenly something pops up in this discussion where the host is basically saying, yeah, well, is there anything that you know about that you've heard? And he's essentially saying, well, the Direct is tomorrow or today. This was recorded before the Nintendo Direct happened, and he's saying, well, I don't really want to spoil things right now, because if I do, I'll kind of destroy the hype for all the Nintendo Direct has to offer, right? So it could have been something that was revealed at the Nintendo Direct, which immediately made me think of this new Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, remake, which it would be awesome. But I think it goes a little bit deeper than that, because he talks about a game that was thought to be buried, that was thought to be canceled and would never see the light of day again. That's what he was talking about. Nintendo is going to revive a game. He's heard this multiple times, so he's really interested in knowing what this game is. And I have a feeling that we're going to be finding out a lot more about this in the near future. I don't think that this is the Link's Awakening remake, which actually looks amazing for Switch. I like the art style. I reacted to it in our live stream react, which was awesome. But I think that it has to do with another franchise. I don't think that it's The Legend of Zelda that's talking about this long forgotten buried game. And he says, well, that's not going to stay buried for long. This is actually going to resurface. This is going to probably be restarted. Now, Metroid Prime 4, of course, as we all know, has been rebooted. The progress has been halted and has been gone back to square one, which essentially means that all the work that has been done on Metroid Prime 4 reverts back to point zero and is now handed to Retro Studios. So I don't think that Metroid Prime 4 falls into that category, right? I don't think that that's the kind of game that would stay buried forever, because they really want to continue Metroid Prime. It's a really good franchise for Nintendo, and the fans love it too. No, I think that it could be the long-dreaded Metroid Dread. Now, Metroid Dread was supposed to be this action-adventure game, this Nintendo game, which was supposed to be rumored back then for the Nintendo DS, so not even the 3DS. And it was going to be a sequel to the Game Boy Advance game, Metroid Fusion. And Metroid Fusion, one of my favorite Metroid games of all time, was of course kind of like a rebooty, kind of like a retelling kind of game. So it was actually in the E3 conversation around 2005 and 2006, so it's a long time ago. No info was revealed at all, and then there was actually a little message in the game Metroid Prime 3 Corruption that was actually thought to contain sort of a little nod to Metroid Dread, to the game, But then later, the director of that game actually said that this was just happenstance. And even the designer Yoshio Sakamoto confirmed that this game, this Metroid Dread game that everybody talked about, was a real thing, which is incredible. So now we know that this Metroid Dread game that a lot of people don't really want to talk about actually is something that's happening. So, but we didn't hear any more from it after that. The game had existed, but that's all what they said, the staff would have to start from scratch if development was ever being resumed. And then critics expressed an interest in seeing the game or a similar 2D side-scrolling Metroid game. And of course, this happened in Metroid Samus Returns, which was, of course, the kind of remake for the Game Boy game. And to have that game, I think a lot of people assumed that, this probably was Metroid Dread all along. But I think Metroid Dread ended up being buried because of the change in the landscape of the Metroid franchise, right? It went into a drastically different approach, and then we even got games that were, not too well received by everybody. Metroid games that we don't really want to talk about here, not the blast ball kind of audience. But I feel like this Metroid Dread game is what he's talking about here. Now, it could also definitely refer to a Yoshi game. There was this rumored Yoshi game actually before Woolly World ever became a reality. So that was like a Yoshi Yarn kind of game. But then before that even, there was a big rumored Yoshi's Story kind of sequel game. So it would take elements from Yoshi's Island game and Yoshi's Story to kind of build a sequel upon that same framework, which I think would have been insane because those are two of my favorite Yoshi games of all time. I played the demo of the Crafted World game, which is great too. It's targeted for a very young audience, but I love that all the same. But I feel like a sequel to Yoshi's Story kind of really made sense, and bringing it to either the GameCube, which would have been that era, would make sense. But now to have it resurface, I don't think makes as much sense, because the Yoshi landscape is now basically, Yoshi is from that Crafted World or that Woolly World setting, right? That's what Yoshi is. So people that grow up with Yoshi now don't really know that Yoshi's Story or Yoshi's Island kind of vibe. I mean, they're a little bit similar. Everyone has, this kind of art style idea of what a Yoshi game should be, but I feel like this is the direction they're going for the next 10 years. So I don't think a Yoshi's Story sequel fits into those plans. It could also be a Skyward Sword remake for the Switch or a remaster. And I feel like this would fall under that same category. A game that was long buried, a game that was long talked about but never really saw the light of day. And then, of course, Eiji Onuma actually went out and said, Skyward Sword remake is not something that we're actually working on right now. And as we know, they are working on Link's Awakening remake and probably also working away at the Breath of the Wild sequel, because that game was, Game of the Year. It was loved by everybody, and they would for sure want to capitalize on that great engine, the character models, all that kind of stuff to make sort of a Majora's Mask-esque sequel. I feel Skyward Sword wouldn't really be this game. There's another possibility where it could be this rumored Mario 64 remake. They were, of course, releasing a Mario 64 remake on the Nintendo DS. A lot of people hated that game. A lot of people loved that game and grew up with that game as like the first Mario 3D game. So that was pretty amazing to me to see kids kind of diving into new Super Mario Brothers and then switching carts around and then playing Mario 64 DS, and it'd be like, I just got these on handheld, and I would have them on my Nintendo 64 when I was younger. So it's pretty crazy. But I feel like if we're going to talk about two franchises that were long buried and now have a new sequel, I think Star Fox is actually going strong. It's not one of those, but I feel like it could either be Metroid Dread, or it could have been referring to Metroid Prime 4, or, the biggest possibility to me is a new F-Zero game. Now, it's been too long since we've seen F-Zero. It's been too long since Captain Falcon had his adventures, and I feel like it is time to give a little bit back to that audience, because they've been patient, they've been waiting, they've even been playing Mario Kart 8, at the high frequencies, they've been playing that Big Blue kind of level. It's got great representation in Smash Bros. Ultimate 2, so I feel like F-Zero fans really deserve a new game, and I feel like the Switch would be great. I mean, we could have two Joy-Cons playing, multiplayer, one screen, and we could just go at it in HD with this really fast gameplay. I mean, the HD rumble would work really, really well. So F-Zero Switch or something like that, I feel would be a great game to get audiences back into that franchise. And it just thinks that it would really fit the Switch mentality too. Taking F-Zero on the go, just doing a few laps, and then you reach your station and you put your Switch away again. So I really want to know from you guys, what do you think that is this buried Nintendo game that, you know, has long been forgotten and now is going to see the light of day again? It wasn't revealed in the Direct to my knowledge, but what could it be? Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. There's a lot of news coming out for Super Mario Maker 2, and we're working on the new Snake Codex. Of course, guys, you can also decide what I make a video about next, because blocked content is on Patreon. So support the channel, become a part of it. There's a lot of cool rewards. You get episodes early, your own video ideas commissioned. I do that for Snake Codex all the time, personal Skype calls with me, and you make a big difference if you donate at least $1. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. And of course, remember that starting next week, starting tomorrow, we will actually be doing live streams a lot more. So I get to talk to you guys a whole lot more. We get to play video games together. We get to have some fun. And I am really, really excited for what the future will bring, because I think that streaming and having interaction with you guys is going to bring a whole new dimension to the channel. So I hope you guys look forward to that. Let's get streaming pretty soon. And remember, if you're not yet a member of the Blocked Content family yet, don't worry, hit that subscribe button. All the news and fun that you care about will be delivered daily to you. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you around the corner, where there's always more leak speak, speculation, rumors, and always more blocked content. See ya.